I think so. Hey, Sarah, did you know that the Big Show was Captain Insano? She didn't recognize him on SNL. She's like, I knew him from somewhere. And then, but Sarah also, before she got into wrestling, thought that the Macho Man was just a very charismatic pitch man for Slim Jim.
Slim Jim.
Had no idea that he was a pro wrestler.
I also didn't recognize him in Spider-Man, which sucked for me. But like when I saw him in Spider-Man, I was just like, oh man, this guy is crazy.
Listen, that's the commitment he made to the Bonesaw character.
Yeah.
Hey, Michael.
Had Macho stuck around, I think like had he been younger when he made that, like there's no doubt he would have been like wrestled as Bonesaw or something on.
It would have been great.
Can you imagine Bonesaw on Impact?
Sometimes I really think at the age that other people grow up, and if we ask like, who's the wrestler who advocated for Slim Jim? There's people out there who could say Diesel or Bam Bam Bigelow.
Yeah, there's an Edge guy out there. Edge, yeah. I know.
That blows my mind.
It's so interesting.
The younger people will say Brock Lesnar because he got the Slim Jim thing now.
Really?
Yeah.
No, he's Jax Links.
Oh, really?
Brock was Jax Links. Yeah. And,
I thought he had Slim Jim in UFC.
Johns.
Oh,
no,
okay.
Jimmy Johns and Jax Links, I think.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I think that the Slim Jim thing is wild because I do remember when Savage left and it was just like, oh, we'll just have anyone. It's like, you can't have just anyone. Like,
no.
I do think today, if there was like Warhorse was tweeting out a bunch of like Slim Jim things.
That's
and stuff.
A good one.
Yeah. But like, I do wonder if it is like, obviously Slim Jim's going to be like, we want somebody from like the big leagues, WWF or WWE or AEW. Who would you like? Maybe Brody King.
That would have
been
maybe.
I think like you got Brody King.
Eddie Kingston.
Eddie. Yeah.
Eddie Kingston.
Otis. You know what Eddie should be the spokesman for? Eddie should be the like Arizona iced tea guy, like something that's like an essential like Bariqua, like
Speaks to the everyman.
Yeah, I go to my my bodega and I get like Eddie should be a spokesman for whether it's like a sticky bun or an Arizona iced tea, and he's just like, I'm Eddie Kingston. It's always 99 cents. Like
anything you can get on the corner at Uncle Fucky's or whatever.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Brilliant.
Like, I like Brody King for Slim Jim. I'm trying to think, who else would be a good, because they've got to have charisma.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Brody. Like I'm picturing, Brody just like he was on I Think You Should Leave or something. You know what I mean? Like just that wild Brody. I'm trying to think who else there would be.
My mind immediately went to Otis because of how much charisma he has, and he's a big husky dude.
Old Otis would have been a shoe-in.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Old Otis would have been a shoe-in.
But Otis?
No. I was explaining to somebody the once awesomeness of Otis.
Oh, man.
And he was like, that guy was like, I said he was there Orange Cassidy for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was there Orange Cassidy for a little while. It was wild.
Pour out of Bodega, Arizona for old Otis. He was it, man. The COVID era Money in the Bank stuff. He was clicking on.
He had a great feud with Mandy, which I don't think they do enough.
No, agreed.
Dating angles. And I think that the charisma was just like, a guy is good when they're in a tag team and that other guy, you just see him like fading like Back to the Future.
Right.
Like, oh no, you're going to go away.
Marty Jannetty, no.
But the way that Otis is now, it's like, it's cool in some aspects what he does and stuff.
He's exactly fine.
They had Chris Farley and they just were like, no. We don't want Chris Farley.
No. We want Kevin Farley.
I'll tell you what, Kevin Farley.
I do love Kevin Farley.
Who interviews Captain Insano in The Waterboy.
Does he really?
Whoa.
Yes, he does.
Holy moly.
Yeah. And I opened for him one time at the Laugh Factory in Chicago. And after the show, we were all having drinks at a bar. And he had a bunch of friends because he grew up in Wisconsin. So there's a lot of Wisconsin people in Chicago. And they were in town or they came to town or lived in town. And we're all talking. And he's great. He's buying drinks for everybody. And he's being really cool. And the PR lady for the Laugh Factory is like, can I talk to you for a second? Like off to the side. And this was, I think like Thursday, we were doing like Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And she's like, you've got some jokes about drugs and, with Chris and everything, I think maybe you should not do those jokes for the rest of the show. And I was like, oh, okay. Or for the rest of the weekend or whatever. And I was like in my mind, I'm like, do you have that power or whatever? Or maybe I'm just like, just trying to get booked at a new club. I'm like, okay, whatever. And I walk away, and I think he watched the whole thing, and he goes, what did that lady say to you? And I was like, honestly? And he goes, yeah. I go, she told me like, don't do any drugs, any jokes that have to do with drugs because it might offend you. And he was like, oh, this is going to be fun. He goes, watch this. So he waits for like half hour or so goes by. And I don't know if he told his buddy, like, this is the code, like, here we go. And we're all just at the table. And one of his buddies goes, Kevin, what happened to your brother, Chris? That dude was hilarious. And he's like, fuck you. And then stormed out of the bar. It was so awesome. I was like, it was such a great joke. I love it. It was great.
Absolutely brilliant. Who is your all-time favorite person to open for? Because you've opened for quite a few and you've been around.
My all-time favorite person to open for. Like, because then meaning like I watched them and it was like, what a treat or something, or like just as a person they were cool, or
because the crowd they bring, and then the whole night you end up spending afterwards. Okay, altogether the night itself made like, God, thank goodness I opened for this person.
Jeff Garland.
Real,
he was just like
that rules.
The coolest, the funnest. He like would rip on me about jokes I did in my set. And I was like, dude. And he's one of those famous guys where wherever he goes, everybody's just like, oh my God. Cause this was like, and what was so funny was like, there's like, first there was like Curb Your Enthusiasm fans, but then there were Goldberg fans. Yeah. And there were more fans of the Goldbergs than Curb. And he's like, I would rather them all come and talk about Curb Your Enthusiasm than the Goldbergs. And he's like, I just know when they're Goldberg fans. And it's like, they just come at you like, whoa, I'm a Goldberg fan.
I saw you on Fox.
Yeah, versus like, hey, I'm a Curb fan. I'm real cool. It was so very, but yeah, coolest dude.
That's great.
Yeah.